AFTV, James, 4-0 win. Is it fair to say the most convincing Premier League game so far?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, because it's the 4-0, the scoreline, all that, away from home. I don't think Bournemouth are a bad side either. They caused Tottenham and Chelsea some problems, even if they didn't get wins in those games. So they were right. They caused Liverpool and Anfield some problems, actually. The fact that they caused us nothing. I don't think they had anything in that game. Speaks to how complete Arsenal are looking away from home. That's now Brentford, Palace and Everton you can add to this win at Bournemouth of, string of clean sheets away from home, where we're very much doing the job on the road. So well done to them. I was critical in the starting 11 of the lineup, because the one thing, everyone can go, 4-0, so Arsenal were brilliant. And they were. That doesn't mean that if Vieira starts over Havertz and Nelson starts over Eddie, that we don't win the game 5 or 6-0. Like, it doesn't mean that. But what we did see was why Arteta is putting his faith in the likes of Eddie at times, Havertz at times, because the one thing they do is work really, really hard. And if you're going to deny the opposition anything, you've got to have players that work super hard, that understand their roles tactically, that cover the right spaces and get stuck in. That's the one thing Havertz and Eddie do. I was critical of them being in the 11. Not critical. I wasn't having a massive go. I was just sceptical. It's not what I'd have done. It's not what, but I'm not paid to make the decisions. And so if Arteta's getting them right, that's kind of what you expect.
It didn't work last week in North London derby with Jesus out left and Eddie through the centre. And I think you can see why fans were concerned when we saw it again. Why do you think he's persisting with this again? I know we've seen some stubbornness in Mikel Arteta. Do you think there's anything tactically that you can see that the reason as to why Jesus is being pushed out wide?
No, I don't. I don't see anything that tells me, because Eddie wins the penalty, darting in down that left-hand side, and in pre-season it was Jesus down the middle, Eddie on the left. So you could argue that the one time actually Eddie drifted wide, which was away from what maybe Arteta had designed, maybe wanted fluidity and all that. But what I'm saying is, like, in spite of Eddie being the striker and Jesus being on the left, we kind of got the penalty. If you know what I'm trying to say. The point is, I don't really know what it is. Does Jesus work really hard and help Zinchenko? Maybe that's a part of it. Is it that Eddie presses well from the front? I think there's a bit of that. But Jesus presses brilliantly from the front. Guardiola called him the best pressing striker in the world. So I don't know tactically what it is. I have to say, though, I think most of what we would have done today would have beaten Bournemouth. Like, I think he'd have had to really mess it up, the 11 for us not to win somewhat fairly comfortably. But they did. They breezed past Bournemouth. They played some really good football. And I think it's become a real topic, or a real theme of Arsenal's wins, that the opposition are doing nothing in these games. Were we our most fluid best? And we scored 4 goals. I don't think that was a 4-0 performance in a way. I thought it was like a solid 2-0 away performance. But it doesn't matter. We kind of just always did enough to sort of be on the front foot, keep Bournemouth away from our goal, and we took our chances. We got 2 pens, and we worked some really good moments. So I'm really happy for the team. They did good.
Listen, who stood out for you today? Because there's a few individuals, to be fair, that could probably put himself forward for a Man of the Match award. Who impressed you?
I think Saliba and Gabriel are immense at the back. Declan Rice in front just kept things ticking brilliantly. Ødegaard, I think, looked like he had a point to prove against Bournemouth after the North London derby, after that yellow card. He sort of struggled in that game. Saka, although I will be critical of that as well. I think he should have come off earlier.
Why didn't he come off earlier, James?
And this is what annoys when people go, so you don't have the information that the manager has, so you can't, don't always question everything, don't always be so critical. Listen, I've been very supportive and chill of pretty much everything that's happened this season, from 11s to even the Tottenham result. I didn't lose my head over it or whatever, but I do lose my head over things like, one of our youngest and best players clearly playing too much football. And, I don't know if the injury is a recurrence of what happened in the North London derby, or if he's, maybe picked up something new in the game. But what I do know is a player that young is playing more football, I believe, than any player that age. And, if he's come off in the North London derby and he's not trained all week, and Mikel Arteta's told us he's not trained all week, and you go 3-0 up by 55 minutes, maybe he's one to take off earlier. That just feels like common sense to me. Fair enough. I'm no medic and I don't have all the information they have. But you should have come off sooner. But that's kind of like the only thing Arteta, maybe in my opinion, got wrong today. Otherwise, everything else he got pretty much spot on. Even when Jorginho Smith-Rowe came on, we actually started to look like we were going to score again. Jorginho kind of gave us a bit of control that maybe we were kind of losing for 10, 15 minutes there. So, yeah, it was just all round a very good day. But Man of the Match, who's yours? I know you're going to do a fan cam, but I mean, probably Declan Rice, maybe.
That's who mine is.
Ødegaard.
I mean, Ødegaard puts is a great performance for me as well, but Declan Rice. There was a few today, James.
I'll actually give it to Ødegaard because he puts the ball to the back post that leads to the Saka goal. He then nails the first penalty. He then wins the third penalty. So he
sets up Ben White's fourth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's got to be Ødegaard then. Oh, sorry. Now you actually piece it all together because I always think of what I saw on the ball and off the ball and all that. But actually, you're right. The big moments all fall to Martin Ødegaard. So, yeah, he's the man match for me today.
Just lastly, a word on Kai Havertz today. I know a lot of people are talking about him every game at the moment. And he's got his penalty. Do you think we can see some confidence from the guy now and he can go and actually get a string of performances that perhaps we're all hoping he goes on to do?
Well, I'm laughing because here I am watching Ødegaard with the ball in his hands for the third goal and second pen. And I was like, give it to Havertz. And I see Havertz has got it. I'm thinking, why did I say that? He has got a good record on pens. That was partly the reason why I was calling for it. But I keep saying, if you were a £20 million midfielder or £20 million defence midfielder that Arteta was trying to convert the other way, so he was trying to get him to be a more forward-thinking player, I think we'd look at him very differently. Winning his duels, picking out good areas in the midfield, not allowing us to be played through, keeping things moving very simply, but we need more in the final third. But because we believe he's meant to be a real output player in the final third, that's where we get disappointed, where he doesn't sprint with conviction, where the through balls aren't coming off or whatever. But he scored his pen. I think nearly had a great assist for Eddie with that lovely ball across goal that was deflected out for a corner. And did his defensive duty well. So he kept things ticking. I'd probably give him a 6 or 7 out of 10. Kept things moving. Yes, we want more, but at the very least, when you're betting into a new team, give us at least that bare minimum that bare minimum performance that allows everyone else to just keep doing their thing. And Arsenal, they don't know they're skipping a beat at the moment, even when Havertz is in the team, as we saw against Brentford the other night as well. So well done. He's keeping it moving.